Hey, good morning, everyone. So I'm going on this morning. This is not the normal Words of Encouragement program. I've been taking a few days off because I've been a bit under the weather, not feeling particularly good, but I really felt like I needed to come on and say something just really quick this morning. So I appreciate the prayers. Thank you, all of you. You're going to wake up this morning, if you haven't heard. There's, of course, a lot of stuff going on in the news, the trucker thing, and just stuff everywhere. But one of, I think, the most pressing thing that's happening is in Ukraine this morning. And you're going to see that President Putin in Russia has launched pretty much a full-scale attack against the citizens of Ukraine. And I just really want you to pray. I think sometimes when we think of these things, we think of land masses and we think of political systems and we look at who's right and who's wrong, and we kind of tend to weigh all these things up. All of that really, I think, has its place. But what happens is we lose the humanity in the process of it, and I'm a very simple person. Someone says, well, I need to educate you on all that's going on. No, not really. I mean, I actually wind up being educated on some of those things, but I think we need to understand that this is about human lives. This is about people. And I'm not trying to insult your intelligence or be oversimplified, but it really does come down to people. I just read a post from my friend Gary Bittner, and his kids are there. And I don't know all the ramifications of that, but I think they're probably in the ministry. They're maybe missionaries. I don't know. But Gary, if you're watching this, I'm praying for you and your family and your kids. And this amounts to people. The bloodshed that will happen today will happen to human beings for whom Jesus died, on both sides of the equation. Now, there is a right and a wrong in conflict. There really is. This is why I say don't over politicize it about, well, these guys did this and this guys did this. And now, listen, really what it comes down to in a conflict like this is typically, not every time, but typically there is an aggressor. And then there is someone who's defending themselves. And in this case, the aggressor is definitely Russia. And those that are defending themselves are Ukraine. And so and I've used this illustration before, and I'm going to use it again. If you saw two people walking down the street towards each other, one was like, let's say, a young person, young man or young woman, and the other was an adult, maybe a large man, strong or whatever, and the one individual looked upon the other and saw that they had something they wanted. And typically these conflicts come down to that. The perceived stronger individual wants something from the perceived weaker individual, and they're going to take it by physical force or by intimidation. And so the one person's walking and the other person's walking, and when they meet, the aggressor says, I want that iPhone, I want those shoes, I want your watch, whatever. And it's like the school bully, as it were. And it's wrong. Okay, it's just wrong. You say, well, you don't know, they had the land at one time, blah, 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 but no, it's just wrong. Okay? We need to quit complicating some of these issues and just say, you know what, you don't have a right to do that. And I want you to pray for the people of Russia, that they will, really pray for the leadership. Okay, pray for the people, yes, because sometimes people need to rise up. But their form of government is not like ours. The impulse that people have to rise up and protest an unrighteous government is often squashed because of the fear of the brutal force that will come against them. I know so many believers, and I have the greatest respect for you. I really do, and I love you. But we must overcome the concept that was bred into us over many years that we don't want to be involved. I'm not into politics, we say. I'm not into this. Listen, governance is about granting authority to someone over your life. And it's way more. See, this is the thing here, so this is not just you lose your ability to buy as much gas, or your food prices go up, or your health care gets messed up. All of those are issues that are important to the Lord. But when people, see, this amounts to a man. This amounts to Vladimir Putin. It amounts to the people. This is not a political issue. These are people. These are real people that are now, their authority over other people is going, people are going to lose limbs today. Okay, people are going to have their bodies crushed today. People just like you and me. People with families. And that man and the people in his cabinet, you know, the old saying, might makes right. You know, they do not have a right to do what they're doing. And just like you don't have a right, just because you want someone's goods, you know, to attack and assault them. So we need to pray. We need to quit saying these things don't matter. Our government or any government can become this. History is rife with these. And I'm not here to give you a political lesson. I'm here to say people matter. Governance is not just about systems. It's about people. People who pull the trigger. People who say, I want what you have, whether it's power over you or your resources or your labor so you can whatever, or I've got a better understanding of how things go than you, and so you have to submit to me. It's always about one person wanting to take something from another. And I know people that say, well, I just wish we could live like, you know, the tribes in the Congo and you know, listen, those guys kill each other. Okay. So you want to be like the Native Americans, or you want to be like the Maasai or some of these guys that are, you know, either used to be or are currently now in isolate. Listen, they rise up and kill each other too. You have one faction, one tribe. Okay, you know this. Come on, read your history. You'll have people are prone to violence because they want to take something from someone else. It's not that complicated. Okay. And we make it complicated because of all of our policies and so on. So you got one tribe will rise up against another tribe and say, we're going to kill you and take your sons and daughters captive. And, you know, this is age old. Now, what am I saying all this for? I'm just saying today, instead of getting lost, because it's going to flood the news. It's going to flood everything. And you know what? To some degree, I think it should. I don't think we are righteous by putting our head in the sand and pretending, because if it were happening in a neighboring city of yours or your city or a state, let's say that Mexico, and this is just an example, I'm not saying they would ever do this, but let's say the nation of Mexico decided that New Mexico or Arizona or Southern California, hey, you took that from us, which we did, by the way. You took that from us, and we're going to take it back from you. Now, you may go into all kinds of philosophical reasons why they may have a right to do that, but I'm telling you today that would be wrong. At some point, nations have to quit rising against nations. People have to quit thinking they have a right to take from someone else what belongs to them currently, okay? Every nation either conquered, well, not everyone, but nearly every nation that's ever been in existence gained their status by conquering someone else. Are we going to go back and back and back and back and try to go all the way back to what? Adam and Eve? Even in Adam and Eve, Cain rose up and slew his brother. What was it that he wanted? Well, he was provoked with an unholy jealousy, and he wanted something from his brother, which was admiration from the Lord. The Lord himself showed favor on Abel, and it made his brother jealous. So what am I saying? I'm saying there's something deeper going on than just politicals. Don't hide and say, I'm not a political person. I'm not a political person. Listen, this isn't about human beings. This is not about politics. It is, because people live in policy, and they are governed. You know, even tribal peoples say, I want to go somewhere we're not governed. You're going to be governed anytime there's another human being around you. You get what I'm saying? Every nation is full of human beings that the Lord loves. And he died for them. They are meant to be lovers of God, just like you and I are. And it is a tragedy anytime a person or a collective of persons rises up to hurt another person. The only time I believe personally that is justified to use force is when you are defending either yourself or those near to you, or an innocent. God actually had much to say about that. He said, even animals, he said, you see somebody striking an animal or doing bad to it, or it's in a ditch, and you don't do anything about it, he says he holds you accountable for that. Okay, so rising up in defense is in most cases the right thing to do. So let me just wrap this all up, because I don't want to go a long time here, but I just want to say this. Pray just like you would for your own country, just like you would for your own state. Whatever it takes for you to narrow it down. Visualize your community coming under attack from another community. And you are at risk. Your children are at risk. Your livestock, your animals, whatever, your job, your church. Let's say you are at risk. How would you pray? And I'm not saying just pray for the believers. You know, there are believers in Russia, and lots of them. And then there are believers in Ukraine. There are people who are not believers, secularists, people who are unsaved, sinners, Jesus called them. Oh, my goodness. Okay, in both of those countries. This is about the conflict of people against other people. So I just want to encourage you to pray. That's all I want to say about it today. Just would you take the time, see those people as yourself. And again, if you have to visualize the church and that, if that helps you, whatever, but just pray. People often say, well, that's the least we can do. Actually, it's not the least. It's one of the greatest things we can do. But what they mean by that, when they say that phrase, they say what they're really saying is at a minimum. It's the minimal thing we can do. At the very least. It doesn't mean it's the least effective. It just means everybody can do that. Everybody can take time to pray. Okay? Well, I don't know if God hears my prayers. Well, he certainly won't if you don't pray them. Okay? Pray for them. Pray that the Lord will bring this to a speedy end. And I will say one last thing here before I go. And that is, these things can escalate into global affairs. If you think that this little thing is just some isolated thing that will, and I'm not a doomsdayer, I'm not an alarmist, but I do know that these things can escalate to become global affairs. And I was thinking this morning of, World War I in the early 1900s, devastated the globe. Millions of people perished. And it all started probably with two opposing men, one saying, I want this, and another saying, I want that, whether it's Stalin or Hitler or whoever. It doesn't matter. It's just human being that's probably demonized, okay? And the whole world eventually, okay, got broiled into that conflict. Hitler, one guy, influencing a smaller group of people who influence a country, and somebody else saying, no, you're not going to do that. And it winds up going into, oh, you think that's going to happen, Jim? I don't know. All I know is it has happened. And we've been given the most effective thing on the planet. Yes, we should act. Yes, we should stand up. I appreciate what the truckers are doing. I do believe that we have to put legs to our prayers, but please don't hopscotch over the prayer part. Go to the Lord and ask him, because we are living in the days that Jesus talked about, when nation will rise against nation. We don't have to be fearful. Okay, I don't think we should head for the hills, but neither should we just pretend it's not happening and it has nothing to do with me, and I'll wait until it comes into my backyard before I say anything to the Lord about it. Don't do that. Talk to him about it. Ask him to help. Okay, if you need to go to someone's website, like my friend Gary Bittner, or on Facebook, and see that, oh, there's somebody that has a son or daughter there. No, now I'm motivated to pray. Whatever it takes, get motivated to pray. Talk to the Lord about it. Know that it's on his heart, and know that he will listen and he will act, because he's too good not to. All right? Thank you for listening. Again, I just wanted to take a couple minutes. Appreciate your prayers. I'm going to go back in the house now. So, love you all. And God is good. He's going to, all things are going to, the lion will lay down with the lamb. The ox will eat, or the lion, actually it says the wolf will lay down with the lamb. The ox will eat grass like the lion. The child will play at the hole of the asp, the snake. Okay. neither will they learn war anymore. But until that day that we beat our swords into plowshares, you must pray, and you must make a stand, and you must ask the Lord. Be on the Lord's side in this. And believe me, the Lord's side in this is that those who would unrighteously rise up and be the aggressors against an innocent people must be stopped. Absolutely. That is just like if it were your family, okay? Just like if it were your city or your community. If someone rose up unprovoked and attacked your family, you would have every right and responsibility to put an end to that, okay? So anyway, God bless you. I know there's a lot involved there, but thank you so much. Thanks for praying for me. We'll look forward to seeing you on Monday. God bless.